The Zarnak Empire was once feared across the galaxy. Their warships ruled space. Their soldiers never lost a battle. But now, they were silent. Small outposts stopped responding. Scout ships vanished without a trace. And on every moon and planet under Zarnak control, one message appeared, carved into walls, burned into metal, or echoed through radios. You killed one. We are many. In the deep cold of space, Station X-44 sent a distress signal. It was a strong base, protected by drones and heavy weapons. But when Commander Zeller received the signal, it was only static, followed by a whisper. We see you. He turned to Dr. Krall. How are they doing this? Krall looked pale. They're not using ships, not using weapons. They're using space itself. They're not attacking like us. They're hunting. Meanwhile, on Moon Beta, a group of elite Zarnak soldiers patrolled a research facility. Their leader, General Rax, was confident. We are the best. Whatever this human thing is, we'll crush it. That night, Rax saw something move in the shadows. He aimed his blaster. Nothing there. Then a voice behind him. You are too late. Rax turned around and screamed. His body was later found floating in midair, eyes wide, mouth frozen, no sign of a wound. All recordings from that night were erased, except one. A single frame. A human silhouette, glowing with energy, standing in fire. Back on the Zarnak homeworld, panic spread like wildfire. People stopped going outside. Military officers resigned. Citizens whispered in fear. A council member said, "This is no longer a war. This is punishment." Commander Zeller slammed the table. We need to strike back. We are still strong. Dr. Krall shook his head. Strike what? There is no enemy fleet. No command center. Just shadows, voices, fear. Later that night, a scientist discovered something horrifying. All the locations attacked formed a pattern, a spiral. At the center of the spiral was the Zarnak capital. They're circling us, Krall whispered. Closer, every day. One captured survivor from a destroyed outpost was brought to the capital. He was shaking. His armor was scorched. His eyes were wild. Zalor asked him, what happened? The soldier looked up. His voice was broken. They were everywhere, but nowhere. I saw my own reflection speak to me. It said. He paused. What did it say? Zeller demanded. The soldier whispered, we were never weak. We were waiting. Then he collapsed and died. Heart stopped from pure fear. Across the galaxy, other alien races began to watch silently. They had once feared the Zarnak. Now they feared something else. A message was broadcast from an unknown source. All species received it. One sentence. Earth has changed. Humans are not what you think. The signal ended with a pulse, a wave of light that shut down systems across 12 planets. Zalor ordered the archives opened. He wanted to see everything about humans. What he found chilled him. Hundreds of years of peace. 0 galactic wars. But deep science, quiet exploration. Experiments, like Project Eternum. Dr. Krall said, humans knew this could happen. They built this response. This was their trap. Zeller stared at the screen. They let us kill him. On purpose? Krall nodded. Yes. And now the retaliation has begun. Suddenly, the sky over the Zarnak capital turned dark. Not from clouds. From something massive. Something that wasn't there a second ago. The power grid collapsed. All screens turned to static, then to a human face made of light and energy. No mouth, no eyes, just a voice. We offered peace. You answered with death. Now you will understand. The face disappeared. Then the city lights came back. But something had changed. Time felt slower. Air felt thicker. Fear was now alive. In the dark space beyond the Zeta-9 system, A massive alien warship floated silently. The ship belonged to the Zarnak Empire, a proud and powerful alien race known for conquering planets without mercy. On board, Commander Threx, a tall creature with sharp blue skin and glowing red eyes, stood on the deck with his soldiers. They had captured something strange, a human. The man sat calmly in a small energy cage, his hands resting on his lap, his face calm. He looked weak compared to the strong Zarnak soldiers around him. He didn't speak, didn't fight, didn't even blink when the commander stared at him. Commander Threx stepped forward. "You are far from your little blue planet, human. What were you doing in restricted space?" The human looked up slowly. His eyes were dark, but something about them felt deep, ancient. "I was just exploring," he said in a quiet voice. The soldiers laughed. One of them, Soldier Varn, slammed his fist against the energy cage. "Liar, you humans are always hiding something. Your kind is too curious for your own good." The human didn't respond. He just stared at Varn without fear. Commander Threx turned away. "Take him to the holding chamber. We will decide what to do after interrogation." But Soldier Varn stepped forward. "Why waste time? Let me deal with him now. He's just a weak human." Threx hesitated. "No, we must follow protocol." But Varn didn't listen. With a flash of his plasma blade, he deactivated the cage and stabbed the human in the chest. The man gasped once, then fell to the floor. Blood slowly spread around his body. The room went silent. Commander Threx shouted, "Varn, what have you done?" Varn stepped back. He was useless, just a human. The dead man's lips moved. Everyone froze. In a soft voice, barely a whisper, the human said, "You just started the end." Then he died. That night, strange things began to happen on the warship. The lights flickered. Doors refused to open. The ship's AI system spoke in broken sentences. "We are watching." Soldier Varn couldn't sleep. He kept hearing footsteps outside his room. But every time he checked, no one was there. In the engine room, 2 engineers were found dead, their eyes wide open, faces frozen in fear. No wounds, no signs of a struggle. Commander Threx ordered a full scan of the ship. "I want answers. Now." But the AI refused to respond. Instead, it repeated one word again and again. "Awakened, awakened, awakened." Varn started to panic. He locked himself in the weapon bay and shouted into his comms, "It's him. I saw him." "The human. He's walking in the halls." "Impossible," Threx replied. "He is dead. We burned the body." Varn's voice was shaking. "Then what did I see?" Suddenly, the lights in the weapon bay went out. A deep silence filled the room. Then a whisper echoed from the shadows. "You should have listened." The next morning, Varn was gone. Only his armor was found, twisted and melted into the floor. Commander Threx called an emergency meeting. "We are being hunted," he said, voice tight with fear, "by something we don't understand." Another officer asked, "Do you think it's the human?" Threx didn't answer at first. Then he said, "No, not the human. Something woke up when we killed him. Something connected to him." Someone whispered, "What if humans are not what we thought? What if they're not weak?" No one laughed. No one spoke. They all remembered the human's last words. "You just started the end." Outside the ship, in the endless black of space, something moved. A ripple in the stars. It was coming. The Zarnak Empire was no longer in control. Their fleets were silent. Their people were afraid. And their leaders were lost. High Commander Zeller stood alone in the war room. Screens showed chaos across the Empire. Entire cities were dark. Patrols had gone silent. Whispers spread faster than the military could hide them. He turned to Dr. Krall. "No more lies. Tell me everything about Project Eternum." Krall sighed. He pulled up a hidden file from the deep archives, a file stolen long ago from a human data vault. The title read, Project Eternum, Phase 3, Death as Evolution. Solar frowned. What does that mean? Krall looked up. It means the human we killed was not a mistake. He was a test. Many years ago, Earth had started Project Eternum in silence. Not for war, not for power, but for survival. They knew they were not the strongest species, so they planned for something else. They created a group of enhanced humans, not stronger in muscle, but in spirit. If one of them was killed unjustly, their consciousness would not die. It would evolve, change, connect with energy, with gravity, with time. Zeller's voice was cold. You mean that human we killed became something else? Krall nodded. Yes, something we don't even have a name for. He became pure force. The human's name had been Kai. He was a scientist and a soldier, sent to explore deep space, but secretly he was part of the final test of Project Eternum. His last mission, make contact, record reactions, if killed, awaken. They killed him, and Kai awakened. Since that moment, everything changed. He was no longer flesh. He became energy, mind, and memory, spread across space. He could be everywhere at once, inside machines, inside signals, inside fear itself. He didn't attack with weapons. He changed reality. Commander Zolor watched as more reports came in. Ships lost in empty space. Soldiers screaming about shadows. Machines refusing to work when humans were mentioned. Dreams filled with the same face, glowing eyes, calm voice, one sentence. You started this. Zeller clenched his fists. We need to destroy him. Dr. Krall shook his head. You can't destroy something that doesn't exist in one place anymore. He is not a target. He is a consequence. Meanwhile, on a hidden moon, a Zarnak spy had secretly made contact with a human AI. The AI appeared as a small cube of light. It spoke slowly. You feared our weapons, but our greatest weapon is death itself. The spy asked, Why did you do this? The AI responded, Because you needed to understand. You treat life as cheap. We do not. You see one human, we see all of humanity. Then the AI vanished, and the spy was never seen again. Back on the Zarnak capital, a final hidden file unlocked itself. It was Kay's last personal message before his mission. He looked into the camera, calm, serious. If you are seeing this, I am probably dead, or something else. But that means they made their choice. We gave the galaxy peace. They answered with violence. Now I will show them what happens when a peaceful species stops holding back. Zeller turned off the message. No one spoke. The next day, every starship in the Empire powered down for 5 minutes. In that silence, a wave of sound moved across space, a soft hum. It wasn't a threat. It was a warning. From Kai. This is not revenge. This is education. Dr. Krall sat alone that night, staring at the stars. He whispered to himself, We thought humans were still evolving. But maybe they'd already did. Far away from the warship, deep inside the Zarnak homeworld, alarms rang across the high command tower. A red alert message flashed across every screen. Contact lost with battleship Vengeance. Crew status, unknown. In the central chamber, High Commander Zoller, the leader of the Zarnak military, stared at the report. He narrowed his eyes. Another ship. Vanished? That makes 5 this cycle. Beside him, a scientist named Dr. Krall adjusted his translator device. All 5 ships had one thing in common. They all captured or attacked humans before contact was lost. Zoller growled, Humans? Those soft creatures from Earth? They're primitive. Weak. Dr. Krall slowly shook his head. Commander, I'm starting to believe we were wrong. He tapped on a data screen. This is the last recording we received from the ship Vengeance. The audio played static, crackling, then a whisper. You shouldn't have killed him. Then a scream, loud, inhuman. Then silence. Back in the science division, young tech officer Larn was decoding strange signals from deep space. He leaned forward, confused. That's not possible. The signal was weak, but he could hear it clearly. A voice, a human voice, speaking in a low, strange tone. You killed one of us. Now we are awake. Suddenly the signal changed. Screams, explosions, then laughter. But not normal laughter. It sounded twisted, like many voices speaking at once. Larn stood up and rushed to his superior. Sir, we're not just receiving human transmissions. Something is sending us echoes, messages carried by, energy waves. From Earth? His superior asked. Larn shook his head. No, from the space where the battleship vanished. Commander Zeller called an emergency meeting of the High Council. All the Zarnak leaders sat in a dark circular chamber, screens floating in front of them. A senior intelligence officer spoke. We accessed hidden Earth files from our database. We found something disturbing. The screen lit up with an old classified file marked Project Eternum, Human Defense Level, Red. Zeller's eyes narrowed. What is it? The officer hesitated. A secret human experiment. It was believed to be abandoned, but the records say otherwise. He read from the file. Subject 47 was part of Eternum. If killed, subject will trigger post-death awakening. Energy-based life form. Extremely dangerous. Do not engage. The room went quiet. Zeller stood. You're telling me we killed Subject 47? Dr. Kroll nodded. Yes, and now he's not dead. He's something else. Meanwhile, on the far side of the galaxy, a Zarnak scouting base sent a final message. They're not human anymore. They're changing space around them. Nothing stops them. Then the base went dark. No survivors. Panic started to spread among the Zarnak people. Fear was growing. Whispers filled the air. Humans have awakened something. They were testing us. What if death made them stronger? Across the Empire, other species watched in silence. The once proud Zarnak Empire was crumbling, one ship at a time. No battles, no invaders, just disappearance. A senator on the council whispered, We always thought humans were weak because they smiled, because they avoided war. But what if that was the warning? Zeller stood still, his voice cold. We poked the wrong creature. Back at the science center, Dr. Kroll noticed something strange. Every time a ship disappeared, space around that area changed, as if reality itself was bending. He stared at the screen. Coordinates lit up, forming a path, a direction. They're not just attacking, he whispered. They're coming here. The human's final words echoed in his mind. You just started the end. The Zarnak Empire was broken. Their fleets had stopped moving. Their weapons didn't fire. And their people lived in silence, afraid to even speak the word human. But in the cold center of the Zarnak capital, Commander Zeller was not ready to give up. He stood in front of the last working warship, the Iron Flame. It was massive, filled with weapons, bombs, and technology designed to destroy planets. This is it, Zeller growled. If that thing is still out there, we'll face it. Dr. Kroll stood beside him, his voice low. Are you sure? This is not a human anymore. This is the result of our mistake. Zeller didn't care. Better to die fighting than live in fear. The ship launched into space, flying straight toward the last known location of the entity once called Kai. The crew was silent. No one laughed. No one spoke of victory. They all knew this wasn't a battle. It was a final conversation. As the Iron Flame entered the dark region of space, everything changed. The stars blinked out. Time felt slower. Then light. A soft golden light filled the ship, but it didn't come from outside. It came from within. Machines began to speak in human voices. Walls moved like water. And in the center of the bridge, a figure appeared. Tall, glowing, calm. Kai. Or what was left of him. He didn't look angry. He looked disappointed. Commander Zeller stepped forward. You've made your point. You broke us. Now what? Kai spoke, but his voice echoed in their minds instead of their ears. This was never about breaking you. This was about showing you. Showing us what? Zeller shouted. That life is not yours to take without consequence. Zeller pointed at him. We are warriors. We do what is needed to survive. And we were teachers, Kay replied. But now the lesson is over. Suddenly, the crew began to see visions. Memories. Scenes from Earth. Children laughing in fields. Scientists working late into the night. Soldiers holding back their fire. Humans building, helping, protecting. Then flashes of what came next. Zarnak ships attacking. Civilians dying. Peace being destroyed. The crew fell to their knees. Tears ran down their faces. Not from pain, but from understanding. They had never seen humans as more than weak creatures. Now, they saw the truth. Zeller dropped his weapon. We were wrong, he whispered. Kay's light grew softer. That is all I needed to hear. Then, with a wave of his hand, the warship turned around, not by force, but by choice. The crew no longer wanted to fight. They wanted peace. Back on the Zarnak homeworld, something strange happened. Lights returned. Machines worked. People laughed again. Not because they had won, but because the fear had left. Across the galaxy, a final message appeared on every screen. In every language. From Earth. This was not war. This was awakening. Remember it. Years passed. Zarnak and Earth signed peace. They began to share knowledge. And one rule was written across all stars. Never mistake kindness for weakness. Never forget what happened when one human died. Far away in the silent corners of space, Kay's energy floated among the stars. Watching. Waiting. Not as a monster, but as a reminder.